Okay, hi Trapper.
Hi.
Last time I saw you was in Middelkerke.
Oh yes,
It's been about 2 years. What have you been up to?
the infamous gig in Middelkerke. Yeah, we have been just up to no good since then. We did this pretty ridiculous concept album about an amusement park where each song takes you on a different ride at the park. So there's this ride called the Zippin' Pippin, which is famously Elvis Presley's favorite ride. And as the story goes, he rented the amusement park from midnight to 6 in the morning, and he rode the ride over and over and over and over while eating those peanut butter and banana sandwiches that he loved so much. You have the Elvis cooking. Is it just peanut butter and banana Yeah. Yeah, so we did that. We just finished up a new album with Pat Sansone from Wilco producing, and yeah, we've been really busy.
What music did you listen to growing up?
Music growing up. I always say my dad had 5 CDs in the car. It was REM, Out of Time, John Cougar Mellencamp, Harry Belafonte, the one with Deo on it, Calypso, Fleetwood Mac, and then Harry Chapin, Greatest Stories Live, where he sings 30,000 pounds of bananas. Those no Elvis. Elvis, and you just kind of grow up with Elvis is in your tap water in America, so got my dose of that.
What song evokes your fondest childhood memory?
Fondest childhood memory. We had an off day, or we had 2 off days, and we spent them on this farm in rural Germany with a bunch of horses, and weirdly enough it sort of felt like home. But I was going through Spotify and I pulled up that Bob Dylan album Desire, and there's that song in it called Hurricane, where it's an A minor song about the boxer who is wrongfully accused of murder. And anyway, I heard that song when I was laid up from a bad BMX bike accident when I was a kid. And I heard that song and it just shook my entire world. And that song in particular is what sort of really got me to begin thinking differently about music and what you could say through song. So yeah, I had kind of a cool little moment laying on the grass a couple days ago, so I just thought of that.
What band or artist no longer performing would you give anything to see live in concert?
Elvis, come on, yeah.
Rhetorical question. What moments stand out in your career above anything else?
Above anything else. What was really cool is getting to play Town Hall in New York City. That place is very symbolic for a lot of different reasons, of course, but bebop was, I guess, invented on that very stage, and most famously it's where Bob Dylan played his first big New York concert. So that was a really special moment, and it was with the band called the Jayhawks, which I grew up listening to and loving. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you on tour?
The craziest thing that's ever happened on tour was we were doing an interview on a playground, and when I crossed my arms, I turned this microphone off. So I'll restart that part of the story a day later. So we were in Middelkerke, and we had an off day, and I was walking around this little town, quaint little European town, my first show in Europe. I went in this grocery store, and the woman looked at me real strange, like I was from outer space or something. And I said, "Oh, I'm from America. I don't have any money. I'll come right back with some money." And the butcher from the back walks up, crosses his arms. He has a knife in his hand, and he's giving me just this death stare. And I thought, okay, better time to leave. Good time to leave. So I start walking around the town, and people start peering out their windows like this. And I'm saying hi to people gallivanting around. And I notice more and more people are sort of alarmed by my presence. And I get back to the tour bus a while later, and I see that there were police on the bus. The bus driver says they were just after the boy in the red hat, which narrowed it down because I was wearing this red stocking hat at the time. And so yeah, that's probably the craziest thing that's happened. In my first show in Europe, the police were after me all day. I had no idea. And the pigeons. Yeah, we're at this place, and they're telling me about the pigeons that race across Holland, and one is apparently worth $100,000. So if I ever have a big hit, I'm gonna buy a pigeon.
Awesome. What is the most horrible thing of living on a tour bus?
Most horrible thing in living in a tour bus. Going to the bathroom is always a challenge.
Always the same answer.
Always a challenge, yeah. And then, what's more of a challenge is in some places in Germany, you have to pay to go to the bathroom. So you wake up from a nap, and I don't really carry any money on tour anyway. So when I, get into the bathroom, and it's like, oh no, you can't just stroll on in. You need some coins, and you need the right coins. So, yeah, sometimes you have to improvise. We'll leave it at that.
To me, my job is something I have to do to pay my bills and to allow me to do my real passion, which is photography and concerts. Would you prefer safety and security over passion?
That sounds so boring.
I know.
Yeah.
It allows me to do
I know. I'm kidding. For my line of work, it's like you just can't. You kind of got to be all in. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's tough. I've had jobs, and it's tough going from this and then kind of going back to work. So
it's the same for me though.
It's tough.
Have you ever had a job where you couldn't express yourself?
I have, yeah.
You do.
I worked at this is a pretty cool gig. I worked at NPR Milwaukee Public Radio, and so I got to program some of the nighttime music, which is pretty cool. But, it took me, 20 minutes to do that, and then the rest of the day is booking guests for the show, that kind of stuff. So it was sort of a dream gig in that sense, yeah. But yeah, it's tough because the more you put yourself in this, the harder it is to kind of drag yourself back out. So.
I know some bands have messages, and I'm sure even if you want it or not, people get messages out of your songs. Have you ever had second thoughts about giving people so much personal information through your music and lyrics?
Through music, yeah. I guess it's a very vulnerable path, right? Yeah, I would always say that songwriting is just so... It is very personal, but in the sense that, my last record was a whole song about amusement parks. So it's a really fun thing to talk about how much I love these different rides at the amusement park. However, the amusement park is a place ripe with metaphor. So each song really does carry a unique set of metaphors with it. So I think a lot of times songwriters, even though I'm pretty direct in my songs, you find ways to sort of camouflage how you're really feeling with your songwriting. And even when something on the surface seems like it has a pretty clear message, whatever it was you were channeling from the get-go might not be that at all. So I think, songwriters are pretty good at laying down the camouflage there.
Betrayal. A lot of people experience this, relationships, friendships. It's a common thing that runs through a lot of people's lives. Betrayal is something that angers me and upsets me more than anything else because you have trust and time and whatever invested in these friendships.
Yeah.
And for whatever reasons, you feel these people have turned their back on you, and that's something I really don't like. Anger comes from disbelief and confusion, and it's probably a result of the inability to properly process what's happening or what's going on. Are you still able to trust people after they betrayed you, or past experiences?
Yeah, it's kind of hitting the nail on the head, it feels like you're in the van right now with us, like, this is van talk. Yeah. No, yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's you kind of have to go through, after you get that bad taste in your mouth, you have to go through a recovery period for a while. But yeah, in my experiences, if you go through something bad, you get a good song out of it, or many good songs
Experience, and you live and learn.
out of it, and you live and you learn. But yeah, it's tough to rebuild after you've destroyed.
Would you face your challenges or just walk away?
Definitely, I'm the kind of person that's like, let's just put it all out there now, and then run away, or in my case, get in one of these big tour buses and drive off into the distance. No, yeah, it's tough, but you figure it out. It's life. It's what happens.
What does your family think about your music?
I think they're really into it, and they have fun with it, watching us float around the world. One of the cooler moments was getting to introduce my mom to Jakob Dylan, who I grew up listening to and loving, and we played a hometown show at Minneapolis at First Avenue. And getting to bring my mom backstage, meet Jakob Dylan, that's pretty cool.
Companies who pick playful or meaningless job titles. Every single job is being aggrandized. Manicurists became nail technicians. A receptionist became a director of first impressions. If you can shake a drink, you're a mixologist. If you could pick a playful job title for what you do, what would it be?
Playful job title. I am the boot spinner. I spin on my boots like this on stage. And we are on a playground. I spin. We are on a playground right now, if you didn't notice. Yeah. It's kind of an old joke. Sorry.
You sing a lot of sweet love songs, but what actually makes a girl pretty? What does the word beauty mean to you?
Well, that's so subjective. Yeah.
It depends on your answer.
Yeah, that's true. Just being warm and honest, I guess. Being true.
Yeah, honesty.
Honesty.
If you could have one superpower, what
One
would it
superpower. The ability to put wings on that van over there, Big Red, so that when the drive's getting tough, we could say wings, and it would fly above all the other cars. And our tour manager, Philip, would be really into that as well.
be? Yeah, Europe is tough driving. Yeah, is there anything else you would like to talk about?
Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Questions.
Yeah, this has been a really fun tour so far. We did 4 dates in Italy. We got to play at a dog rescue facility where they have over 200 dogs on site. So shout out to Sylvia. What's up? Her and her partner made us this lights out amazing dinner. I don't know if you've had an Italian dinner before, but it's like I was full eating, and then she's like, "Oh, we've just we've just begun." So yeah, it's a sport eating in Italy, which is great. We've really enjoyed that. And then we moved to Schwabisch Hall, Germany, full house, full of packed, sweaty people. Had a great rock and roll show there, and then we moved on to back to Middlekirky, the scene of the crime, where I felt that my runtime was already pretty long, so I forgot to bookend it by saying I went back to the grocery store, actually, and tried to clear the air, but it was closed. It was closed. Yeah, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
That brings us up to date.
Yeah, I wish you a fun show tonight in Eindhoven.
Thank you.
Since I'm Belgian, I got you.
Oh, chocolate, that's my soft spot. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much.